Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to PCM22. This is Dragons. It's episode number 13. This is one of those instances where my recording software has done an update and then done me dirty, and my microphone ceased to function properly after the update. And I went through and recorded the entire episode, which now, during editing, I have discovered said problem, fixed said problem, but I am having to go back and re-record a voiceover commentary. It always comes out a little bit differently when I do it this way than in the heat of the moment and the live action. And then, of course, what you're seeing facecam wise is overlaid over top of the original commentary. Fortunately, at least the game audio is normal, standard. All right, well, let's get to it as I am getting the team set for a climb to come. Now, this is the Tour of Britain. This is, up to this point, the highest profile race that I've been a part of. Of course, the last race, the Deutschland Tour, was the highest profile race that I had taken part in up to that point. This now already eclipsing that, and realistically, there is only just this one punchy finish that we have to deal with amongst an 8-stage race. It's mostly sprint stages. Okay, well, let's get into it. We are getting the team set and trying to figure out who has what. I came in this with a very, very well-prepared team, but our race day condition draw is right about neutral on what it could have or should have been. But Yamamoto, +5. Terraskin, +4 race day condition. So hopefully the team can do something, but I'm sorting out kind of who's going to do what in terms of roles. We have just 6K to go, so we're going to have to be pretty aggressive on this one. It's not the steepest of climbs either. Abdul will lead us out, so we are getting him set and ready. Chu on a -3 will follow him up. We're going to use gels on both of these guys, but let's get racing now. Unfortunately, Abdul wasn't in the greatest of positions, so by the time he's coming forward, we're a little bit down, but there you go. We're onto the base of the climb, and Abdul already pushing through, but Chu gets cut off. So he's going to have to cover that gap. But Abdul, out of red bar, is still out front. So Chu is still chasing him, so we're going to let him chase a little bit longer. And now that Abdul is done and Chu caught him, we let him take over. He's about to be out of red bar. We're going to get some gels going for the rest of these guys. It's 3.5K. Oscar is actually in the leader's jersey. So we had to do some leading out of this one. Of all the stages we had up to this point, Oscar had finished second and then finished second. And that combination, 6 + 6, 12-second time bonuses, you get 10 for winning the stage, and it was a different winner on each stage leading up to it. So it put Oscar into the overall race lead as a result. So we had to defend against that throughout this stage to make sure that we were in position. But you can see as we're getting up to the last little bit of this stage, final 2 kilometers, Brandon No out front, Lee in second, Youngo Lee, and Yamamoto got blocked off once, twice, maybe 3 times, and eventually finds himself back up in position, but all that chasing is putting us on the back foot. Field, we have split them off though. 14 riders with one guy out front, one guy escaping and getting the advantage. We are chasing him down, but he has clearly got enough of an advantage that the stage is his. Youngo Lee and Yamamoto. Yamamoto's got a little something left. How many guys can he overtake? It's difficult from here. Like I said, we really had to sit on that. Frele takes the win well ahead of everybody else. He's got 20+ seconds at the finish line. Cataneo, Mascan, Latour, Utchabrox, and there is Yamamoto in 6th with Youngo Lee in 8th. We don't quite have the dominating team, and especially with that lead on the day and having to waste some extra energy keeping the peloton in check, I might have waited a little bit longer than we needed to, but that's the hard thing about being a weaker team. You cannot just go out and control from 20K out and expect your team to make it. 23-second advantage, but we do see splits in the field, and that gives us 2 guys in the top 10 with Yamamoto and Lee and then things drop off beginning at 11th place. Unfortunately, the quick sim of those sprint stages put you on the tail end. So Yamamoto and Lee, despite, Yamamoto in particular racing for the overall, is at the tail end of the guys on same time. Looking at prologue ratings, Youngo Lee is actually significantly better than Yamamoto, so we're going to probably race for Youngo Lee later on. 8-stage race of the remaining stages. It's sprint, 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 prologue at the end. So prologue rating is going to be the more relevant one, and that's what we're going to have to go off of to decide what we can do about trying to move up the order. But from half a minute down, I think Fraley is going to have the overall wrapped up pretty decently. I mean, you can see up to a minute of a gap in the prologues, but not much more than that. On the scouting front, this year we do have a couple guys that are coming in as 4-star talents. I'm now filtering down to just 18-year-olds, not even bothering to look at the 16, 17-year-olds, especially with how weak we are in terms of scouting and the fact that scouting through Asia is generally weak anyway. Not putting my hopes up on anything in the younger riders, nor do we have the time to really bother with them or the finances to hire the additional scouts to be able to bother with them additionally. So kind of going through, it's been a mixed bag of what we were getting, and as we eventually get to the end of things in October, I'll find that there just wasn't. There was no talent. But going into the final stage here of the Tour of Britain, Oscar had multiple second place finishes in the later stages as well. He will do enough to claim the sprint jersey, which is awesome. But Chu, he puts in a really, really good prologue time, good enough for 4th place. Youngo Lee, not only does he have a -2 today on the day that counts, which was a -5 draw, by the way. He was expected to have a +3, so a -5 draw for Youngo Lee. But more importantly than that, somewhere over those sprint stages, Youngo Lee ended up losing a minute and a half worth of time, dropping him out of the top 10 placings and making that -5 draw irrelevant anyway, and he loses 42 seconds on the stage itself. No Tereskin coming up at 8.8 kilometers in length. It's not exactly full-on prologue. Prologue's 5K and below, but for me, time trial really doesn't even start until about 12 plus kilometers. I still tend to call it a prologue when it's this short, though rating share, it's going to use a little bit of your time trial rating, but majority is still pulling off of your prologue rating. But anyway, no Tereskin, good race day conditions for them, +3, +2, but neither one is quality, and that's really a team problem for us. We just do not have time trialing quality. Abdul was the only decent one, but he had a really poor race day condition today, which is why he lost 41 seconds. But here is Yamamoto ready to set off. He is still 9th place, 33 seconds down. He's supposed to have a +4 on his race day condition. He ends up with a 0. So no bonuses whatsoever. Rough day. Some of the other teammates had good race day conditions. It just about was a wash. But the guys that counted, the guys that we were counting on being in the top 10 and competing for a better position, just didn't have the bonuses. Yamamoto, 66 time trial and 66 prologue. 35 seconds down already at the first time check, and we're going to give him the exact minute, using up the red bar right at the finish line. Still ends up 57 seconds down. Magnus Cort Nielsen is on top, and we're going to see, the rest of the field quickly come in. Frele, 30 seconds down overall, but that's comfortable for him to hang on, except it isn't. He loses by 3 seconds to Cataneo. Cataneo puts in a phenomenal time and claims the win. Moscon claims third. Ucha Brooks is 4th, and we miss out on the top 10 entirely. The Boist from 11th has beaten us, and not only did we just slip out of the top 10, we actually slipped down even a bit further than that. We ended up about 16th, 18th. But at least we did get the points jersey with Oscar. Moving forward, though, really disappointing as we are coming up on the end of the season. The signings that boosted us to the point we've gained that quarter star compared to last season. And last season, we barely missed Continental Pro. But the database is getting deeper, not just in the Asian talent, but throughout the world. The Dutch talent, the English talent, the French talent, the German talent, the Italian talent, the American talent, throughout the world. The database gets deeper. So if you've ever gone deep into saves, you're going to see that is a very common occurrence and has been for a number of years with Pro Cycling Manager. And so what it took 1 year to get in, the next year it takes more. So we've improved by that quarter star, which was comfortable a year ago to make Continental Pro. For the coming year, that quarter star is looking like it's not going to cut it. We are already down to 44th place, significantly lower than we were a year ago, even though we are that quarter star better. And moving into the final race of the season, it's the Japan Cup. This is back to the profile for the Japan Cup that I like. And of course, we are well set for this one. We have come so close here in the past. Yamamoto has had a second place at this race. We've had multiple top 10s at this race over the last 2 to 3 seasons. But here, Bagarov going back to get water one final time as we enter the final 60K. And on this loop, we have 4 more of the bigger climbs, which we are on right now, and Bagarov coming back up through. The breakaway is already splitting up. The peloton is already starting to split up as we're now down to just 94 riders, and then we're seeing at least some yo-yoing, if not proper separation, with just 38 now. 13 left off the front, but they only have a minute 12 advantage, and like I said, the group is breaking up, and meanwhile the peloton is breaking up even further. Just 33 riders now chasing. Hossein Zada with a +5 today, which is huge. But we also have, mixed bag. We have some guys that are in pretty bad shape. Yamamoto, -1. No, -2. Bagarov, -4. Mispa, -1. Terrible draw. And we don't have the fatigue. Now, things come back together a bit here. We've got a few guys kind of attacking. We got a group making contact. So we're back at around 70 riders. But we pull back that group, and we're down to really just 2 riders left off the front, as there's 6 more that have been dropped off. But Bagarov is gone. Mispa is about to be gone from the group, but the other guys are hanging on decently well. With the race day condition, Hossein Zada, his +5 compared to Yamamoto's -1 means Hossein Zada has got to be the guy that we ride for as we kind of go through and finish up another circuit here. We are coming up on the climbs. This one has dual climbs. It has a short hill, and then it descends real fast. You pick up some speed, and then you have that steeper hill. And here is the short version. So you go up, and then it's going to go over the top there, drop real quick, got your finish line area, but then you go up again. Now, for now, 1 rider is attacking off the front, and 1 rider remaining in the break, but we're looking at 38 chasing, and it's time as we get to the top here. We've really got to just get on, because 1, we got to chase down this guy who's attacking, and 2, we want to set ourselves up for that final run. In the past, right, I held off a little too much, waited a little too late because we just don't have the strength. So no, puts foot down. He didn't have much left, but he gave us what he could, and Lou takes over. Only going in 89 because we've got quite a ways to go yet, but that gets us over the penultimate higher climb. 23K to go, though, but we're going to try to put our foot down and not allow these guys to recover, not allow them to attack or challenge, and we're still chasing 1 rider. He's down to 9-second advantage, though. It's him right in front of us. Lou not pushing hard, still just doing the 89 and really just trying to get these guys in position. No at the tail end to help break toe. We've got 22 guys left up here, and we're still chasing those 2. But again, Lou setting the tempo, setting the pace, 89. You can see here you got kind of a little false hill before you get into that proper decent hill. We reset, we get into it. Lou hanging in there, though he's getting more tired. and we're going to get into this proper climb now. 15K to go, still 22 in the group, so we haven't split anybody off. We lost about 10 seconds to the guys out front, actually, with the pace that we are setting, but that means that they're pushing harder than an 89. So they're going pretty deep. It's going to soften them up. And Lou takes us through all this flat area, and now we take over with Lee. We're going to prepare to push a little bit harder here soon. For now, we still go with an 89 as we hit the first hill, really trying to save it pretty late. You can see how quickly we're pulling back the first two. Dion Smith is the one we are chasing down there. He's a definite favorite, but with the acceleration, we pull back the last man and already cut the peloton down to 16. So just one little push through the hill with Lee. Now down to 14, now down to 11 as we split off another 3 guys. And this is it. This is the final climb. You don't have to win here, but it would be nice to really break things up. Down to 10. 10 riders left. Now 6 riders, and we have 3 of them. Down to 5. With us are just 2 guys, but it's Stoke and Stown Midget. Stown Midget is absurdly strong. Lee uses up all of his energy, but Yamamoto and Hossein Zada still have something left, and there's just 5 riders here. Lee, with the downhill, gets a little recovery, but keeps the tempo high, putting pressure on the other 2 because they will not get recovery in. As a result, it's also not allowing others to catch up, and Lee continues to ride on. We've got a minute's advantage over everybody else, and we are inside 5K to go, so we've used our gels. Lee is done. He's out of energy, and here goes Yamamoto. Can we do something against these 2 finally? I mean, this is our chance. We got 4 guys in contention. I've got 2 of them. We drop Youngo Lee. Right now, it looks like he might hang on for 5th. He's got about 47 seconds. Stoke is at the back. Stown Midget looks really strong, though, and they are trying to attack, but Yamamoto keeping the pressure on. He's going at a 94, keeping the pace up, and setting up Hossein Zada. He's got, 1.7. 1.7 to go. Yamamoto's done, though, so Hossein Zada. Here goes Stown Midget. Oh, man, he is so damn strong. 1K to go. Did he go too early? Stown Midget. We're catching. We're out of red bar. Right before the finish line, Hossein Zada runs out of the red bar, and then his pace just matches Stown Midget. Half a bike length behind. 2nd place. Yamamoto, fighting for the other podium spot, will come up just short. Stoke gets 3rd. Yamamoto gets 4th. Hell of a result. Lee gets 5th. We get 3 guys in the top 5. We get 1 on the podium, but we still cannot claim the victory, and it's our arch nemesis, Stown Midget. He is on the Matrix Power Tag team. He's on the Japanese team. So he keeps showing up at the same races we're at, and he is their team leader. But he is not Asian. So he's on an Asian team as a much stronger rider, stronger than what we have. He is stronger than Yamamoto, but not by much. But it's insane when you throw in the bonuses that you get out there, and we just cannot seem to catch him. But now that the season is done, looking back, we actually did end up with a rider who leveled up. It boosted us a little bit more. Instead of gaining a 1/4 star, we gained a 1/3 of a star. But after all the signings wrapped up over the last month, we had bumped down a little bit further. We went down to about 47th, and we just pushed back up to 44th, meaning we didn't even really come very close. Yet we were incredibly close. I mean, if you look at the index here, you're looking at 3 3/4 stars. We're down at over 3.5. We're down at about 3.6. So 29th all the way down to 44th is separated by 10th and a half, maybe 2/10. It's insanely close. And yet, once again, it's going to be another year in Continental for us. Guaranteed at this point, with nothing out there on the market. Remember, number 1 guy, Lutsenko, is only 4.5 stars. He is now weaker than what we have within the team. So we already have the strongest Asian team that we can put together from just about the entirety of the database. We don't exactly have the top 3 guys, but I'd say we have 3 of the top 5 guys that are out there, and there is no significant upgrade Lutsenko is no longer in the top 5 Asian riders. He's probably 6th or 7th. Looking back on the standings, though, Ineos has won the World Tour rankings with UAE and Jumbo-Visma as your top 3. We were 12th in the Continental rankings, and we have outscored last season by a bit, not by a wide margin, but by a bit. And overall, it was a good season. Races right there at the end, including the Japan Cup, brought us some additional points. But as we look into the Super Prestige, 33rd with 1,534 points. And again, like I said, that is an upgrade. That is better by about 70 points from a year ago. So we were at about 1450-ish last season. So it's better. It is improvement. And we are getting a third of a star better for next season. But man, oh man, it is absurdly hard to crack the Continental Pro rankings right now. Not because we aren't getting better, because we are. And we did what we needed to do from last year to be good enough compared to last year's standards to easily make Continental Pro. We would have been middle of Continental Pro. But as the database gets deeper and all of the teams improve, we didn't improve at enough of a rate to overtake the others. And for that reason, and for that reason alone, we are stuck in Continental for yet another season. So internal development is really the only way now. But we just locked up our one and only 5-star guy for another 3 years. So that's done. So our number one guy is and will remain at 5 stars. Internal development, Brandon No has just picked up that 4.5 star rating, which boosted us up a little bit more. He became our number 2, and I've got a handful of 4.5 star guys. I've got a bunch of 4-star guys, and we have plenty of riders with potential, with that ability to get bigger and better. Here, by the way, is confirmation of Brandon No and his development. He doesn't have a lot left in his web other than really time trialing available to him, so he won't get a lot better, but he, as a puncher, is up to a 77 and might be able to get some wins here and there. Cracking Continental Pro is turning out to be a much, much harder task than what I had expected it to be, but it is what it is. We must endure and try to get there, because the reality is that Astana are getting weaker and falling into Continental Pro. Israel Premier Tech has already fallen to Continental Pro, so we don't have the World Tour teams in Asia. We're going to have to recruit these guys, get these guys. We're going to have to get more aggressive with the Kazakhstan riders to get them into our team and get these guys with the high potential and develop in-house to get us into the Continental Pro, because that's the only way we're going to build the database. But looking at the individual riders of the team, Yamamoto 34th in the Continental rankings with 2 wins this year. Both of those were proper wins. They were not in Japan itself. Oscar 92nd overall, just 1 win for him, and I believe that was the National Championships, the road race. Youngo Lee, 2 wins, 93rd. Same points actually as Oscar. Hossein Zada came on late with his development and is starting to shine. He's a decent climber and the youngest of those top guys. Bagarov did really well considering that he's only a 3.5 star guy. But outside of Oscar, most of our top riders and the incoming top riders are starting to shift over to being those climbers capable. We didn't just grab a ton of sprinters last year. Of course, we signed those couple of sprinters that started their development this year. Schechter is already up to 4 stars. Hoping that Schechter will emerge over the next season into being something a little more useful. That is going to do it for this episode and this season, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.